Knit One,
Part 2, episode 206.
Yay! I'm Sheila, also known as Sheila D37.
And I'm Wendy, also known as Penny Wendy, and we're back after a week hiatus.
Yes, and there was nothing going on because a couple of people posted if everything was okay. We just couldn't get together last week.
I have my mom visiting, and it was school vacation week, and there was just a lot of stuff going on.
Just didn't work out.
Between all the contractors I had to interview and our plans, we could not get together.
But everything is fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
And we're back.
We're back.
So we have 2 drawings at the end of the show that we're going to draw for.
Yep, the Defarge Does Shakespeare and the Yummy Smells contest. So
technically 3 drawings. But
Gossip and we're drawing 2 winners for the Yummy Smells. So check Gossip and Innuendo out for that.
And even though it's right now we're recording on the 29th, and by the time some of you people who will see this, we are not drawing for the April Knit Along until
episode
next week.
207 next week.
Yes. So we're going to be drawing for the April Knit Along and Leonie Knits.
Yeah, Lineo
Knits.
Sorry. Those will be drawn in episode 207. And you guys are benefiting from the fact that I'm going to Maryland Sheep and Wool because I am probably going to post this on Thursday. Because I won't be back home until Monday night. So otherwise it would be quite delayed.
Oh, okay.
So that's the plan. And I also wanted to give a couple of shout outs. I heard about 2 podcasts that are new to me and they may be new to you. One of them is Crafty Princess Podcast. And the other one is the Love Knots Podcast. And I will put the web addresses on the bottom of the screen. So you can, if you're interested, check them out. I haven't seen them myself yet, but I thought I'd give a shout out when I hear about a new podcast so people can find out and see if they like it. So that's it for shout outs. On the dance card, I have one project on the dance card that I'm actively doing. I still have Haida Fude. I'm just going to mention that. Haida Fude is
have
on
you
needles.
Even...
No.
It's not...
It's still on the waist yarn. I didn't even touch it. I probably won't touch it until I get back from Maryland Sheep and Wool because I just won't do it right now. And I have been doing other things instead. And I will get to it eventually, but I am still working. I can't remember if I showed this or not. Anyway, this is brand
new.
Well, no, what is the name of this yarn?
Oh, it's Croy.
Patton's Croy in the Bramble Stripes colorway. And I'm doing the simple skip pattern. And I like it. My usual regular toe-up sock with the fish lips kiss heel. It's coming along really nicely. I just have to knit the leg. So hopefully I'll be done with that. I'm hoping to finish this before I go to Maryland. And that is absolutely the only thing I have on the dance card that I'm actively working on. Cool. Everything else is in hiatus right now.
I am working on a toe-up sock. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of a row.
I know. That's what happened to me, too.
I'm working on a generic toe-up sock. I decided, it's funny, because typically, I don't know about you, but I cast on, with Judy's Magic cast on 12 stitches on each side, so 24 is typically what I cast on. This time I cast on 14 stitches on each side, so what's that, 28? It just looked weird. I don't know, it's just...
I typically do 12.
I do too, and I think I'm going to go back. I don't know why. I really do want to make more of the rounded toe, but to do the rounded toe, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do
the rounded toe annoys me. I did it once.
I like the rounded toe, but how to do the rounded toe is not something I want to.
Yeah,
because you got to almost increase every time, and after a while, it puts stress on the yarn, and it really puts stress on my thumb. So I'm like,
I use my standard.
I'm doing. Oh wow, that you can really see the difference there.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a generic toe-up sock. I'm going to be doing the fish lips kiss heel with Plymouth Happy Feet. Is it Plymouth who does that? So 2 weeks ago, I did a stash star, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
And I noticed I had a lot of scrap yarn and a lot of older yarn, so I decided that these 2 pieces of yarn This is, I think, a half a skein, and this is a skein, but do short skeins. This is only 50 grams.
Right.
So I decided to do toes and heels with this and whatever else I can do. And this is what it came out to be. But it's funny because I'm like, oh, this doesn't actually contrast that much, but on the camera it does.
You can really see it, yeah.
But in real life it doesn't.
In real life it looks like they're mirror opposites of each other. Do you know what the colorways are on those, or are they just scraps?
This one is, I have no idea because I made a hat out of that one a while ago. I want to say the colorway on that one is 14.
Oh, so it's just a number?
Yeah, they're just numbers. There is no names to this.
Right.
I'm doing this on a size 2, which is not my usual. Cubics, which is Knitter's Pride cubic.
Yeah. No, it's not Knitter's Pride.
Yeah. The webs.
Oh, right. Yeah, it is.
I know.
Knit Pro is what you keep saying. Knitter's Pride is correct. Pride. You got it right.
I got the cubics. And I will explain in my crushes and heartbreaks what's going on with these. I think this is a softer fabric than I normally do.
It is a softer fabric than she normally does.
But it's still, according to her, bulletproof.
Although, when you compare it to this,
yeah, but that's a different.
So thick.
Yeah,
Although still, it doesn't.
This is maybe a 3-ply twist or whatever you want to call it. It's got that twist to it that.
This is thick too. This is pretty. That's pretty thick too. But even stretched out, that's pretty thick.
So, I'm actually liking this, and I kind of grabbed it because it was all balled up.
Yeah, and so that's how I've been choosing stuff lately.
But you know what the problem is?
Okay.
I'm running out of those. I think I have one more, and I don't know what else to do.
I have one more of these patent croys that are still balled up, but the next socks that I knit are going to be with my new yarn.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just doing this. I got a few more inches before I start the heel. And this is all I have actively on the needles. I was tempted to work on my color affection, but to do that, I actually have to wind up.
The winding just kills you.
Well, it does me because where my ball winder is, it's not where it has been. I moved it.
Oh, you did?
Because everybody kept playing with it. I'm like, I'm just going to move it. But I also don't have a Swift.
It takes
but I use my shears, and it usually isn't a problem. I just haven't had the gumption to do it. But yeah, that's all I have actively on the needles.
So, rate your date. I have one project half done, because I can't remember if I showed this. I think I finished this after. Did I show? I showed my other sock, so maybe I already showed this. Anyway, I still have one sock done, one simple skip sock done in the Bramble Stripes colorway. So that's what it looks like. And I'm hoping that this one will be done before I leave on Friday. So that's my only date to rate. How about you?
I got dates to rate. I do.
Dates.
So first one is I finished my Flutter-by socks. It was Snitch's Clarice colorway. I use 1.5. This is a sturdy wool. I believe it was 75-25, something to that effect. Honestly, it was thin, it was splitty. I ended up throwing whatever scrap I had right away. I'm like, I'm not even going to look at it. I just threw it away.
Yeah. And what we want to point out, too, is it is a discontinued base, and that's probably why she discontinued it.
Yeah, because Snitches has some lovely bases. The syncopation with striping is a really great base. I've knit with it twice, once for Wendy and one's for myself.
It's very nice. So I think that's probably
why. And I've knit with some of her yarn before, and I've liked it because she's one of my favorites. But she's an indie dyer,
and this is pretty old yarn.
It is. It's 7 years.
So
I like the striping.
I did too.
So what I did is I didn't do exactly what the pattern called for. So I started off with 3 butterflies on the bottom because I did this toe up. So the butterflies are backwards, and then what it would call for would be 4 butterflies on the next, but I didn't want it as busy.
Yeah.
So I did 2. So I did 2, 3, 2, and then when I went to the leg, I kept that pattern, but you'll see that there's a big space
on the side
here. And I did a half a repeat of nothing on the back because of the heel.
Yeah, I usually try to do
Like
at
an
least
inch.
half an inch or an inch above the fish lips kiss heel.
Yeah.
You can see I'm not patterning the back of the sock for that reason.
You could probably see it more here where the repeat doesn't repeat.
Yeah.
But I did the fish lips kiss heel on this. I love that heel. If I'm not going to do a gusset, then really that's the heel I'm doing.
That is my favorite heel.
It gives it more room than a regular short row heel.
I don't know why it does, but it does. And there's no
Well, because you're giving it almost like one row in between.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is going to be a nice warm sock. I'm trying to think.
It will be warm.
I did it just shy of the toe because I was just done.
Oh, yeah.
And I used my 1.5 carbons needles. I don't happen to have them with me on this. And again, I'll explain those later. So that's one project.
Yeah.
So I was at my offsite and I wasn't in the mood to knit these. I think I finished them the same day that I did these too. I was in the mood because I went stash stirring and I noticed I had a lot of scraps.
Yeah.
And I for some reason I just needed in my head to get rid of these scraps.
Yeah.
So I did a scrappy dishcloth.
And what's that pattern called?
Ballband.
Ballband, that's right.
And
I knew it was something
It
common.
comes from Peaches and Cream. And it's a free pattern. And really, this doesn't do it justice.
No, the colors are much more rainbowy.
If anyone remembers my blanket that I did a couple of years ago, these are scraps from it. It's neon yellow, not quite highlighter, and a neon orange with red in between. And I did this size 8 needles, which makes it a big squishy thing. And then I did white and red because I was thinking, I was at my offsite, so I'm thinking, oh, that can be like blood dripping.
Okay, that's weird.
I know.
And this is scraps of cotton that you
Scraps of cotton. I still have a ton of scraps left, but I was thinking maybe I'll do this for the teachers with a bar soap.
Yeah, that's
But
nice.
I'll probably go to one of my other favorites, which is the DW dishcloth with it's the strands.
Mm-hmm.
That's a quick one because you're stranding every 2.
Yeah.
So I might do that next with some scrap yarn. But I like this pattern, but it gets boring quick, like maybe once every couple of years. But those are my finished projects there.
Wow, you were productive.
Oh, we weren't here for 2 weeks.
I know. Well, I was pretty productive too. Whirlwind Romance. I did a ton of spinning.
Yeah.
So I had showed you before that I was spinning a loop bat in the strobe colorway, and I finished it. And it is a light fingering weight, and it's hard to see because some of the colors are in the inside, but it's got all the rainbow colors and then black in between. I got 500 and almost 550 yards, 548 yards. And I am going to cast this on for Marilyn Sheep'n'Wool. I'm going to do some kind of a shawl that uses all the yardage.
You know which would be a good one is the one that Steve's been doing, the boomerang.
The boomerang?
But it's just garter stitch, so I don't know if you'd be just interested in that.
I don't know. I have to look at it. I have a couple of ideas, like, queued up.
What about, Susan B. Anderson's Weigh It shawl?
Yeah, it could be something like that. I could do Easy again by Martina Bem. That was a fun one. Remember when we did Easy?
That was fun.
That was garter, though. I don't know if I want to do a garter stitch shawl.
I think on something like that, but you know what? I think Susan B. Anderson's garter, too.
I don't know. I want something that will have a lot of opportunity to show the striping, because this is going to stripe based on the way that the colors are.
How about just doing a simple triangle shawl?
I don't want to. I want something long. Like, what was the one I was thinking of doing? I've done it before. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, I have queued up a couple, and I have a couple of ideas, but I'm going to probably cast this on, so that'll be one project that I take with me to Maryland. After I finish spinning that, I was able to use 2 new things. During the spinning, I was able to use my Acreworks bobbin to ply. I plied onto it. I was able to ply 5 ounces, a little over 5 ounces onto this bobbin. And I have to tell you, for plying, it worked really great. So the next thing I did, because I'm a tester, is I decided to spin. So I'm spinning a gradient kit. I call it a gradient kit, but it's not really a true gradient. It's called Starry Night, and I wish you could see the colors in here. You can see them a little bit.
Oh,
It goes light gray, dark gray, navy blue, sky blue, white, and yellow. And it's the colors of the Starry Night painting by Van Gogh. And so it's more like color blocked. It's not like it's changing gradient wise.
Okay,
Do you know what I mean?
saying, yeah.
And it was 3.9 ounces.
And, I'm sorry, whose fiber?
The Spun Monkey is the fiber, and it was 3.9 ounces. I picked it up at Stitches East 2 years ago, I think. And what happened was I wanted to spin directly onto this bobbin because plying is one thing, spinning's another thing. So I went up to my stash and I opened up the bag that has like my one-off projects because I have a lot of double, like 8 ounces. I opened up one of my single things, and this happened to be on the top, and it had come open, and a couple of the colors had fallen out of the bag, so I was like, all right, I'm doing that one. Yeah, it reminds me of egg yolks.
So let me ask a question. Is this the last of the spinning?
Yes.
Okay, how much was it?
3.9, so just under 4 ounces.
Are you going to Navajo ply it?
Yes.
Or fractal or whatever you
I'm
want.
going to Navajo ply it. So it's just a straight, I spun it on here. You can see how well this packs on.
Yeah.
I have so much room left. On my other bobbin, I would be close to the edge at 4 ounces.
Wow.
This really, I have to say, I'm kind of surprised, but I really like this bobbin. I want to get some more. It's very even. You can see a little bump right here, and the reason that it bumps out right there is where my leader was tied, so it does bump the fiber out a bit, but it packs on really nice. And another thing that I like about it is I can see through the end of the bobbin when I'm spinning. So I can see how much space I have left. On my shocked bobbins, this is solid. So I can't really see anything. But it works great. You know, I'm surprised and impressed. I actually have to say, I think this works better than the woolly winder bobbins that came with my woolly winder. I'm going to say it. For me, it works better. So I'm going to ask my husband and my kids to buy me some for my birthday in different colors.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I've on a side note, I've been seeing these spindles on Instagram, and I don't pay attention to that anymore because that was something I did not want to get into.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until Polly Knits said something, and somebody asked him how the 3D spindles are. I've seen a lot of plastic. I'm like, why are people using plastic? I did not realize that it was the 3D printed spindles.
Yeah, they're printed out of plastic.
So they look nice. It looks like it's even spinning.
Yeah,
on the spindles.
Have to say,
3D is interesting.
I'm more impressed than I thought it would be. I questioned whether this would really work, but it actually packs on, I think, more yarn than my... The other thing is the band in the middle is thinner than the band on my regular one.
Do you have a regular bobbin next?
I should go get one.
Yeah, you should.
I have one right over here. Comparison, this is an actual woolly winder bobbin. They look the same. But... And I was thinking that this was wider, but I think the wooden bobbins that I use are wider than this. This is pretty thin. I just think this packs on more yarn. I don't know how. But I like it, and I like that I can see through this when it's spinning.
Right. And
see how much room I have left on the bobbin. So, and I like the fact that this can come apart and pack flat because you can't. This is the way this is. You cannot take this apart. But it seems to be working pretty nicely. I'm surprised and impressed. That's what I have to say about that. Surprised and impressed. I would buy more.
Good.
I like the fact that I can get different colors. It's just kind of fun.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
It just adds a fun thing. So anyway, I have this much left to spin out of that 4 ounces. So this will probably be done by next week.
When you're done.
It'll be pretty. I'll probably do it. I'm really excited. One of the things that has made me more excited about spinning is that my husband helped me put together my skein winder. And I can now, instead of using my tabletop Swift, which I had to turn with my arm like this. I have a skein winder where I just wind it like a ball winder, and it zips right off. And it's so much faster, so much easier to count. It's just better. And it makes me, like, I don't dread that part of transferring the yarn onto the skein anymore. And it's set up to be exactly an exact amount. I think my other one was 58. This is 60. It's just a better measurement. Like, you still have to do the math, but it's just a better measurement than 58's kind of odd. Like,
right.
It's off. 60 is like an even 5 feet or whatever. So I like it. It's better. So that's it for my whirlwind romances. And big shout out to Acreworks. If you haven't checked out their bobbins and you have a shocked wheel with a woolly winder, you can now get them to work, because I don't really use my plain flyers anymore. It's just so much more convenient not to have to move the yarn. So check it out. So now I have to write all this down.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. As usual, I don't sleep well. And
I know.
It's catching up with me by the end of the day.
I feel you. All right, future dates. So I already told you I am going to cast on some kind of a shawl, a plain shawl with this stripy gradient. It's going to be pretty.
It's going to be gorgeous.
I love it. I love how the yarn came out.
I love some of the colors, the pops of colors.
I know, it's really pretty. It's going to look beautiful knit up. So I'm very excited to see that. There's yellow in there somewhere.
There's oranges in here.
I know. It's just like every color of the rainbow. It's going to be really pretty.
Really muted rainbow almost.
I know, because it got blended with the...
I know. It looks nice that way.
Yeah, it's going to be really pretty. I'm looking forward to it. So something is getting cast on with this. And then I'm also going to cast on a pair of socks when this is done. This is my... I actually checked it out. This is my 6th or 7th pair of socks finished in this year, but one pair I started in December. So I think 6th one that I've knit fully in 2015. But it might be the 7th one I finished. So it'll be a socks, and I think the sock that I'm going to cast on is called Layburn, which is a slip stitch sock where it looks like diamonds, quilted diamonds kind of. Mm-hmm. In fact, the stitch might even be called Quilted Diamonds if you look it up in a stitch guide. But the sock is Layburn. It's a free pattern. I've knit it before. I knit it with, I can't remember the name of the kind of sock yarn it was. I had a pair of blue socks, and those were one of the ones that I really loved that got destroyed in the Great Moth War. So I have some yarn that I'll show you in Baubles and Bling that I think would look really nice with it, and that's what I'm going to do. So those are my future dates. I gotta start working on my color affection. I'm probably gonna keep a sock on the needle because the color affection, once it gets going, is big. Yes, it is.
But it's funny because I was looking at it, and I'm doing medium weight Blue Moon on the first one.
Yeah.
It seems a little dense, and I'm wondering if I should have gone up. But it's too late.
It'll be
now.
fine.
Yeah. So I think that's all I'm gonna do. There's another pair of socks that I was talking to a coworker about. I want to do a pair of worsted weight socks for a supervisor, just more as a joke about the offsite that I've been at. We're going to name it 92 Socks.
Yeah.
Because it's the address that I'm at.
Yeah.
And because I've been doing, when I'm there, we have an offsite that's not getting any pictures. Anyone who follows me on Instagram sees my progress of work. It's basically socks. So I'm going to knit her a worsted pair with the 92 in it.
Oh, that's cool.
But I want it to be worsted because it will be quick.
Yeah.
And so we'll see also, because next week I'm going to a different location.
It might be busier.
It will be busier, but I have a feeling I'll be at 92 plenty of times because I don't think that guy's coming back anytime soon. But so a worsted pair of socks and my color affection. And that's about it. I've been looking at other things, but until I really settle down into something, we'll see.
So, Baubles and Bling. First of all, Sheila and I have the same Baubles and Bling. we each got a skein of Socks That Rock, medium weight. It's a collection, not an obsession.
But for me, it might be more of an obsession.
Yeah, it might be.
Hey.
This is what it looks like. Sheila's having a hard time getting hers open.
Well, because I didn't realize it was tied like this. And I like to keep mine in the bags because mine aren't always moth-proof.
Yeah, I have moth-proof bags upstairs.
So it's a collection, not an obsession. And they're pretty much the same.
Yes. I like
Although I saw that you had some yellow somewhere.
Right here.
I don't think I have that, which is fine. See?
I have a little green too, right here.
So it will be interesting. I'm planning on doing, when I knit this, I can't guarantee it will be the next one I knit. Because
this is what I'm going to do laboring in.
Mine tends to go in a weird way. I think it's zigzagula sock yarn, where it's mostly stockinette, and then it's got one, like an 1.5 inch stripe of something different. And I have to do that because I cannot focus on a pattern. Like this Flutter-by was probably the most I can do. Just because if I am at an offsite, I need to be doing something other than like knitting. Like I can't watch anything when I'm at an offsite.
Yeah.
I've watched a few podcasts, but I really can't devote to it.
Right.
Like watching
attention.
TV.
Right.
But I can read.
Right.
So, but it needs to be mindless if I'm going to read. But
well, a bunch of people at Rhinebeck are going to wear socks made out of this colorway. So, if you are going to Rhinebeck and you want to see how many people we can get to use this colorway, it's a collection, not an obsession. They relisted it on Socks That Rock. It was not listed until a group of people that we're friends with decided to do this. And we're all going to wear them on Saturday.
Yeah, we're not picking a specific pattern for it. It's
no, you just knit whatever socks that you want.
I mean, it's going to be highly variegated, so keep that in mind.
It started out with a group of friends that we know who asked if we wanted to join in, and then we thought it would be fun to see how many people would show up with socks out of this yarn on Saturday.
It will be interesting to see.
It'll be fun.
I'm just seeing on Blue Moon's Fiber Sock Club, there's something always on the inside. I was just seeing if there was anything special. I mean, it just says the washing instructions.
Oh, yeah.
I was just curious.
So, yeah, these will be my Saturday Rhinebeck socks.
It smells like sheep. No, I smell sheep in mine. Yeah, definitely smell sheep.
Mine smells like vinegar.
I don't know.
Anyway, it's a collection, not an obsession.
It's an obsession.
If you're thinking of making... What is that?
My phone just went off, sorry.
Oh, that was my daughter's phone. If you're thinking of making socks for Rhinebeck, consider doing this just to see how many people show up. And if you see me at Rhinebeck on Saturday, show me your socks knit out of this. I would love to see that. So, that's one thing.
That's my only Bauble and Bling, I believe, just so you know.
I have a couple of things.
Because somebody went somewhere.
I did. So it was school vacation week, and I did a little bit of shopping. But first, I got a gift from my friend Lois, who knew I was feeling bad about my hair and wanted to cheer me up by sending me Jean-Luc Picard bag and matching Notions pouch. How awesome is this?
That's cool.
It's like my favorite bag ever now. I love it. And I was teaching my niece. I was babysitting her, and she was knowing all the names of the people on here because she watches this with her mommy and daddy.
Oh, really?
Because that's how my family rolls.
Okay.
So, yes, it has all of the main characters from Star Trek: The Next Generation, my personal favorite Star Trek series. And I love it. And it has big Jean-Luc Picard. So that's what I'm keeping my latest project in. So that was a gift. I went to Massachusetts Sheep and Wool. That was not where I went.
Nope.
I went to Connecticut Sheep and Wool on Saturday, primarily to meet up with my friend Jess, who had, at my request, made up a ton of Notions pouches.
How many Notion pouches do you have?
I don't have enough to go in all of my bags,
Oh my
so
God.
I need more. So I got this Chinese lantern one that I thought was really pretty. And on the inside, it has aqua And then I got these birds and bird cages. And on the inside it has flowers. I love that the insides are all different. And then this is some new Doctor Who stuff. You can't really tell. There's like a TARDIS right there, and there's Doctor Who's sonic screwdriver. And that has space on the inside. And then I got this colored one, and that has polka dots on the inside. And I got Jane Austen, and that has Regency wallpaper on the inside. So I thought that was kind of fun.
Cute.
I can always use more of these. I learned my mistake. I'm not going to buy any more tape measures from China. But I can always use more of these and put them in all of my bags. So I got those. And then I also picked up one skein of sock yarn from Fiber Stash. Fiber Stash is new to me. I haven't bought from them before. This is their Twinkle Toes sock yarn in the eggplant colorway. 438 yards.
Oh, wow.
75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% twinkle. And I bought this to make my baby niece, who is due at the end of July, a little sweater. So, because I hand spun a sweater for my first baby niece, but my new baby niece can wear that sweater because they still own it. So I'm just going to make her a special non-hand spun one. And I wanted superwash because that way they can wash it without worrying. So the hand spun was superwash too, but I know my sister-in-law will be even more busy with 2 kids on her hands instead of 1.
Yes.
So those are the things that I bought. I bought a bunch of other stuff too. I just have to tell you, when we went to Portland, my mom and my mom's friend and I went to Portland, I bought licorice popcorn. It sounds gross. There was this popcorn store in Portland where they have all these flavored popcorn, and one of them is regular popcorn, but it's coated with black licorice. It was so good.
Salt and sweet.
Yeah, it's good. And then I went to Stonewall Kitchen.
Country Kitchen or something.
And I got the chipotle aioli sauce, which was really good. And we ended up going to Plummer's Market in Maine in Buxton? I can't remember. And we got whoopie pies there, which my kids liked. And peanut butter cookies. So that was kind of fun. And I got a ceramic pig for myself. He's right over there. See him?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he cute?
He is cute.
So we had a lot of fun. But I only showed the knitting related stuff. So that's it for Baubles and Bling.
I got nothing except for the blue moon.
Gossip and innuendo.
Crushes and heartbreaks.
Oh, crushes and heartbreaks. Yeah, sorry. I don't write that down on here, so I forgot it. Crushes and heartbreaks. Let's see. My crush is that my mom was here and we had an awesome time. Not only did we go to Portland shopping for the day and my mom went with me to Connecticut Sheep and Wool, but we also took my kids to Salem and went to the Peabody Essex Museum and had a really fun time that day. And we did some other stuff too, and it's just been really fun to have someone to hang out with at home. So that's one crush. My other crush is that I went to see my oncologist and I got a prescription for migraine medication, so I no longer have to suffer from migraines.
That's good.
So, and it works because I had one today and I took it and I feel better.
Good.
So, those are my crushes. My heart.
And they said it'll start tapering down.
It should start tapering off.
Good.
My hair has stopped falling out.
Good.
So, that's good. She said I shouldn't lose any more hair.
Good.
Because I've lost enough already. But, so that was really good. That was a good appointment. I don't have to go back again until November.
Oh, that is good.
Yep. So everything's on track. My heartbreak is that my mom's leaving tomorrow. I have my other crushes on flying to Maryland Sheep and Wool on Friday, and I get to meet up with my friends Denise, Mad About Matisse, and Lois, Knitting's My Bag. So, and I'm gonna meet up with Looney Hiker and her husband.
Oh, good.
Too. So they're not in the same hotel, but I think their hotel is next door to our. It's like within walking distance of our hotel. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be fun. I'm only a little concerned that there's like rioting and looting in Baltimore. That's where I'm flying to. I can only hope that the airport is safe and that I don't like drive into a bad area.
I'm sure it will be.
So
may even be resolved by then. Who knows?
Oh, and my last crush is that I have finally finished interviewing 8 contractors. I have most of the roofing bids in. I'm still waiting for a couple of interior work bids, and then I can start having work done in my house.
Okay.
That's done, so.
Yeah, we had our guy come Thursday. I think we're waiting for what he says needs to be done in comparison to the insurance or something like that. So, yeah. I don't know. My husband was dealing with that. I'll have to mention it to him because I don't think we've heard from him. But, let's see. So, my dad is here, and he's here until probably right after Mother's Day, somewhere around there. A month usually is what he stays for. And it's been nice to go and see him. We went out Friday. We had a good time. Just him and I. I went after work. Zachary had his yearly appointment, just a regular physical appointment. This Sunday we're going to do blood work and compare it and see what's going on. Yeah. I don't think it's anything. I got to talk to them about getting him in a month or so too. So, because he's due for a checkup. And then that reminded me, I was talking to his doctor, who I thought was super nice. You know, the doctors always say they read up on your kids and stuff, but you could tell he really did his homework on them. He goes, oh, this is a 3-pager kid. He goes, 4-pager, 5-pager. He had 5 pages of all these notes on Zachary. But you could really tell that he did check up and check the notes and all that stuff. So it was really nice to see that. But it made me realize that, you know, we have an oncology follow-up, just general follow-up for him, rheumatology, cardiology this year. There was, I think...
Will they ever discharge him from cardiology?
Cardiology, probably not, because he's got pulmonary stenosis. Oh, okay. He's still living with something.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he still has something.
A defect.
Yeah. Oncology, I don't know where in the survivor portion of it. Yeah. I also need to get him genetically tested because he's prone to cancers, and that's my fault because he's been doing so well, so you kind of just throw it in the background, but I really do need to step up my game and get this. I mean, he needs everything. It's like, it's an ologyist nightmare.
He's like a fixer-up kid.
Oh my God. Well, no, it's like all these it's just all these...
He needs a lot of...
Annual checkups, like oncology follow-up or, you know, checkup, rheumatology, hepatology, that's the liver clinic that we need to do. Cardiology, it's every 2 years, but we still need to do it. He needs to get his eyes checked. He needs, actually, I'm so behind on his audiologist too. His hearing aids are fine, but he hasn't been losing it like any more hearing, but I need to get that checked. And it's just so much. And problem is now is I don't want to say I don't have the time. I don't have the time like I used to have the time.
Right, it's harder for you to schedule an appointment. Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, before I used to be like, I didn't care when it was scheduled because I didn't mind taking him out of school, or I could do it all during the summer and know that I could get there. Now I got to arrange it around my schedule. Later in the afternoon works best for me, but that's not always possible. I had to leave work yesterday early. It's becoming more and more difficult.
No, it's difficult enough for me, who does not have to work, with a kid that has 3 specialists that he has to go to. It's hard enough to just keep track of all of that.
But I need to do it because I'm really behind. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
It's like been a year or more for his oncologist.
Oh, you really need to.
Yeah, I really do. So I'm just going to have to lay down on the line.
You need to make a list and just knock it out.
Yeah, one by one, maybe get it done in a couple of months. So my heartbreak is, I've been telling you guys about certain needles. So I have an issue where working pearl stitch definitely doesn't help with my thumb. I think it's early arthritis. I've had it checked, And their solution was a shot of cortisol and don't knit. I'm like, yeah, not a good enough solution for me. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to leave out a lot of purling.
Right.
I've been only doing knitting, except for like the heel flaps, the shawl Color Affection, that's a garter shawl. So as long as because of the way that I hold it, I can feel it. The pain is like here. And so I've been trying to cut out that. I've been cutting out certain things. I changed to certain needles, and this one I've actually upgraded. So I think if I also up the size of the needles, that'll help.
So you're not knitting quite so tight.
Yeah, I definitely knit tight, as Wendy says, bulletproof. So I've tried a couple of different needles. I really enjoyed the Carbons needles by Knitter's Pride. I was knitting 1.5 in those, and if you've ever used them, I don't have them with me. They're out in the car because I have a different bag with me. They kind of warm up.
That's what people say. They warm up.
And they're not as rigid is probably the best way to do it. So my last sock that I did, I was able to use them on 2 socks. I didn't notice the join on them being that bad on the first sock I knit. And I don't know what sock that was. Max's sock? Max's sock. So it was a harsher wool. I mean, it was like this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, maybe it's the wool that I used that it was snagging, because it was really thin and snaggy and splitty. So I tried it with these, and it was still catching. And there was only one side, so I tried to, if anyone's ever magic loop, you're basically knitting with one needle and holding with the other. I'm just trying to get... So what you're doing is when you're transferring, you're pulling the needle that you're working out, and you're kind of pushing the other one back in. Right. So that was the one that I noticed the catch on most of the time, and it would always come back here. There were certain times that I could do it where it wouldn't catch, but it was enough of an aggravation that I'm like, I can't deal with this. So then I switched to my Chaigu, which I love, but they're too rigid for my thumb. I was getting fatigue. But that was with 1.5.
Right. I
don't know if it would be like in size 2s.
Maybe it wouldn't be quite so bad.
Right. But what I'm doing now is I'm using the cubics, which I also like. And again, they're rigid, but it's the way that the cubics are supposed to also be like better for your hands. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do, I've read some reviews on the Carbons, and a lot of people have said the joins have got to get better. And I don't know if it's because of the Carbons, they have steel tips and steel base, so it's not much different than this. But for some reason, it is. I don't know. Yeah. It could also be maybe I'm pulling on it.
Oh, maybe.
I try not to because I do push, but I kind of push and pull. But I don't know. So I'm trying to figure it out. It could be that I'm knitting too small. So what I might try and do is... get a couple more of these cubics, because the join seems to be lasting. I could be harsh on my needles too, but I was really sad about the Carbons because I really enjoyed them. It made them look fancy too, a little bit fancier than regular steel tip needles. So I don't know, we'll see. I don't know.
I'm just knitting with my plain old 7 or 8 year old knit picks, and these joins are...
They've been good. Yeah, I didn't have any problems.
The only downside is every once in a while I just pull the cord right out of them, and I have to get a new pair. But they're so cheap, I don't really care. Yeah,
these are not as cheap.
No.
Especially when you're going into the more fancy, like the Carbons or the cubics.
Right.
I may try the Carbons one more time, maybe in a size 2.
Yeah, that might be good.
And see how it goes. But I was really upset about that. And then one other crush I have is, so Zachary's been doing gymnastics. And we switched to a new place, and they're geared more for a larger male audience. I don't know how to describe it than the place we were at.
So more boys are in it?
There's more boys in it, a wide range of boys, but it's like, it wasn't so, like the other place we were at was either you're on the team or you're kind of not in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what I've been watching is they're really focusing on getting them ready. Like, they're really focusing on body strength. And that's, I was watching him yesterday. He was trying to do the parallel bars. My son has low muscle tone because of the whole situation with his heart and everything. He was cut open. So, I mean, you know, so I said to Zachary, I'm like, he goes, I'm not the best. I said, no, you're not. But if you do some push-ups or something at home, you can get better at it.
Right.
If he keeps practicing, he's only 11. We're not looking
Something to work towards.
We're not looking to be at the Olympics by 16 here or anything like that. I would like him maybe to continue to do it in high school if his high school has one. That would be nice. Just because the muscle tone will do him really well. But just to watch him, they had him doing sit-ups and stuff the last week. So it's like they're having them on the apparatuses, but they're also trying to get them toned, like build muscle. And it's really nice to see. And, he isn't the best, and he needs to understand that he's not the best. Far from it.
Can't be the best at everything you do. Everybody has their good things that they're good at and things that they're not good at.
He's still enjoying it, and that's really what
That's
counts.
the most important thing.
And he's active. That's the other thing. I mean, he's, my kids certainly are active. And, so we had his physical, and they give you all the body mass and everything like that.
Yeah. And
he is just an average kid, and it looks like he's still going to be about 5'11", which is about average. It's about my dad's height, so we'll see.
Good for him.
Good BMI and everything. I'm like, good.
When he turns out to be average, that's good.
I know. I'm happy with that. So,
that's
awesome. At least 1 point is average, but we're doing good. So, yeah, that's about, I think, all my heart crushes and heartbreaks. I missed the Connecticut sheep and wool, but, c'est la vie.
Well, your dad was in town.
He was, and it's not like I need yarn.
No, I almost bought some fiber. And then I put it back because I was like, really? I don't need anything. Plus, I'm going to Maryland in like a week.
Yeah.
And I probably will buy something there, but I only bought this. And this was, actually, that's not true. I bought my mom a present for Mother's Day as well.
But it wasn't for you.
But no, this really isn't for me. It's for a present. So,
True.
And I didn't have anything superwash in my stash that could work for a baby sweater.
I could think of several things, but it's kind of like me giving away my blue moon.
Not in a color not superwash in a color that my sister-in-law would like for the baby. I really didn't have anything.
No, I was just thinking of your Sundara. Will you ever knit with
Sundara. But see, not superwash.
Oh, it's not?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, I think it's 100% wool too, but I'm not totally sure about that.
I've only
but yeah, I would have had this in Sundara. I have purple in Sundara. I could have used that, but...
Do you even think about your Sundara stash when you think of stash?
No.
No. That stash that will never be used.
I might put it all up for sale.
You should if you're not going to use it.
Of course, nobody wants it now, so...
I don't know. I've used it once for a shawl. It was very nice to knit with.
It's very nice to knit with. I've knit a couple of things out of it. I just never think of that when I'm doing stuff. I certainly wouldn't knit socks out of it.
I knit a shawl, yeah.
I knit a pair of socks out of it. They got destroyed in the Great Moth War.
It's 100% superwash.
I think it's 100%
wool. It's kind of like the thinness of the fiber.
Yeah.
Stash yarn, right?
Yeah. It's thin.
Where at least the Blue Moon's got a little heft to it.
Yeah, for my Blue Moon socks are still in really good shape.
I wanted to, because we have a friend who's like, does it hold up well? So I wanted to show her. This is the first pair of Blue Moon socks that I knit with. And I have one, I have one that has a hole here, but I knit this, 4 years ago or so? But otherwise, I just want to show, this is Gathers No Moss, Becky, what my Blue Moon looks like after like 4 years. But this is the first Blue Moon, so it became my favorite.
Yeah.
And I wore these.
That's the thing. I have a lot of socks, so my socks don't get a ton of wear. But there's always, because it's distributed, but there's always a couple of pairs that I really like, and those tend to get the most wear because I'll wear them once a week, or, I'll be like, what do I want to wear? Oh, the rainbow socks.
Yeah.
The ones that I like.
We talked about this, I think, 2 weeks ago. There's my Wool Mize ones that I made, the blue one. I keep looking at them. I will not wear them to work because I put a lot of wear and tear on my socks at work. Those are ones that if I'm going to lounge, in my sweatpants at home.
Yeah.
There's just certain ones that, these will probably, this is,
My Spina de Pesci's died in the Great Moth War.
Oh, I'm sure.
Those were very fancy socks. I didn't wear those very often because I was worried about ruining them because they took me so long to make.
Yeah, but you didn't make those with wool lines, right?
I did not use wool lines. I used...
So, I mean, just so Becky knows, those are old and well-loved.
Yeah, and they last 4 years, and she
4 or
patches
more.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to probably patch one more time. I can't. Sentimental. There's just something about it. But my patching lately has not been anything worth. I'm like, whatever.
Well, I've knit so many new socks that I've decided I'm not going to patch any of the ones that were still viable from the Great Moth War. I'm just going to dump them and start with what I have that doesn't have holes in it and deal with that. If
I get enough stash, this is now my 5th pair. My goal is 12 in, 1 sock a month. This is now my 5th pair, 1 given away. I will think about, not, but see, they're too, I will at least patch them once, depending on how bad they are.
There might be a couple pairs of socks in there that I will patch because I like the socks.
Yeah.
But the problem with getting moth holes in them is that it's not like I'm just patching one area.
Oh, no, mine...
all over the sock.
Yeah.
So for ones that need more than one patch, I'm just...
Well, no, mine are worn from love.
Yeah.
That mine are worn from love, not moth.
So I'm going to suck it up with those and just throw them out. It's hard to throw out socks.
So hard to do that.
I need to do it. So, and I think this is my 6th or 7th pair, so I'm ahead of the game.
Speaking of, all right, here's another heartbreak. So my son had his appointment, and I said, let's go to AC Moore because I'm looking for some somewhat super wash or washable wool for these socks that I'm making for my coworker, my boss. I mean, I would have been happy with Woolies because that's got some acrylic, but it's got mostly acrylic. So I went to AC Moore, and I have to say I was really disappointed. The Patton's wool was beautiful. They had gorgeous colors that I'm like, oh, I would like to have this color. I would like to have that color. Just because plain wool is beautiful.
Yeah.
Patton's but I didn't want to give her wool because, you know what?
Yeah, she might not.
My coworker Linda understands it. She may not,
right.
unless you know the person. But other than that, their only other selection was acrylic.
Huh.
Lion Brand, the Woolies used to be a wool and acrylic blend, mostly acrylic, it's not bad to knit with. I've knit with it before. They had thick and quick and chunky, and that's it. And then it went to Vanna.
Huh.
Everything was acrylic. I was just so disappointed.
Well, Michael's is going to be the same way.
I know. I'm going to have to go to
the
Hub Mills.
The best place is Joann Fabric for selection of wool.
Well, I want something washable.
But do you know what I mean? Of the craft store genre, that's the only place that has.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Hub Mills. I knit with Liberty wool.
Yeah.
Which is a super wash wool. It's not nylon, but it's super wash.
Right.
And I liked how it knit up, and I liked how it felt, so I may go there. And I need some more needles, so I might go there to get those, depending on my time frame on Saturday.
Sounds good.
To grab some colors. I'm thinking of the old style of oatmeal color with a red toe and a red heel.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I have in my head. We'll see. But
sounds good. Gossip and innuendo. First of all, let me tell you who the winners are. Sheila, who won Defarge Does Shakespeare.
Pat Looney Hiker did.
Yay!
It's so nice to see people we actually have met.
Who have been watching the show a long time. I love it when they win.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I'll bring it to her. But then I realized it's a PDF.
It's a digital copy.
So I don't have to, it'll just get, I'll just make sure that they send it to you, Pat. And I'll see you in, 2 days? I'll see you in 2 days. Yay. So that was Defarge Does Shakespeare. We also drew 2 winners for the Yummy Smells from Diabolical Yarns, which is the orange cream soap and 2 scents of her perfume. And the first winner was number 11, Angie Ship.
Which is Andrea
from Canada. Contact Sheila with your snail mail. Please. And the second winner was...
Love the Knit Life, which is Tanya, who is also from Canada. So I will be doing a couple of airmails.
Yes,
once you
contact
get
Sheila
me
with
your
your
info.
snail mail, and we will get that sent out to you. Gossip and innuendo. So last weekend was Connecticut Sheep and Wool, which I went to. It was a lot of fun. The weather was gorgeous. It was cold, but it was sunny. It was the
last
first
couple
time
of years
I
we
haven't
haven't
been there
had,
sweating. I know, it was
well,
really
no,
weird.
last year it was rainy, wasn't it?
No, that year, oh, it did rain
Yeah,
last
it was
year.
cold last year.
That's right, I forgot.
Because we were hiding in the
Yes,
barn, I think.
that's right. I totally forgot about that. I was thinking of that year that we went to Mass Sheep and Wool when I wore shorts and I thought I was going to die. That was a bad year. So, yeah, the weather is getting... I guess the weather has been cool in May for a while.
Yeah.
I just didn't think about it. But I had a great time. I hung out with Jess, Stitched by Jessalu, hung out in her booth. She was doing really well. My mom got me a gnome. Oh, I think this gnome that my mom got me.
They're cute.
And Sheila made me a gnome. It was weird. It was like a weird coincidence. So I have these two gnomes. And then my son bought a pocket gnome because he wanted to have one. And then I got this gnome from my mom. And I got this little bush gnome from Mrs. Cole, my friend Mrs. Cole. And then this year I got a lady gnome for my birthday.
Now, are they all from Going Gnome?
Yes, except for the one you made.
Right.
They're all from Going
But, you know,
Gnome.
it's funny because the one I made looks like it could belong to the Going Gnome.
So I love this. I love this little lady. I picked her out, and she goes really well with my white-haired gnome.
I like this guy.
I love the little tiny one. Again. It's like a gnome baby, but he has a beard, so not really a baby.
No.
But anyway, that was really exciting. I love going to that booth and getting my little gnome fix. They're so cute.
I love that booth.
I do too. They have everything so cute.
It is.
So I enjoyed that. And we didn't stay that long because Connecticut's very small. There are not a lot of vendors there. But I ran into a couple of viewers from the show. Hi, ladies. They stopped and said hello to me. I forgot to bring buttons, of course, because you weren't with me. So they didn't get any buttons. Sorry about that.
Sorry, guys.
I'm bad at remembering that stuff. But we had a really good time. Also last week was the Gore Place Sheep Shearing Festival, which I didn't go to, but if you went to it, I hope you had a good time. I think Boston Jen took her nieces or nephews.
I think at least one niece because she showed
that's a fun place
weaving.
for kids. It has a lot of activities for kids. So I went there a long time ago with my kids and they had a good time. This weekend is Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I am flying into Maryland on Friday, assuming that they don't burn the airport or loot it or something. I'm a little nervous about that situation because I have to drive a rental car to the hotel. Now we're not staying in Baltimore, but I'm a little nervous about.
You'll be fine.
I hope there are no roads shut down or something. I think it's getting calmed down now, but I have been watching the news with concern. So I will be going to Maryland Sheep and Wool on Saturday and Sunday with my friends.
I will not be.
Sheila's not going this year. You gotta come sometime.
I will. The problem is I like Rhinebeck because it's close by. I can't do both yet. Someday, maybe when the kids are older and my husband is, more self-sufficient.
Well, that's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a little girly weekend with two people that I don't get to see very often.
And then Lois is coming back up this
Lois is coming to Maine. Yeah. So I'm going to try to convince her to go to Fiber Frolic in Maine in June and meet up with her there.
Oh, good.
It depends on when my daughter's ballet recital is, though. Last year it kind of...
Last
year, yeah, you probably do. Last year kind of clashed with that day, and it was too much to go up there, but I'm going to see if I can this year. Just to hang out with her.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, and I'm going to see if she and her daughter want to meet, we could go up and meet them in Portland sometime.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
That is a lot of fun.
We need to me and her need to try and get there with my boys, too, somewhere, because she's never met the boys.
Right,
and Zachary can't go, he can go to her area, but he can't go on the lake.
No.
And I don't want to tease him with that. We try and not do that. He understands it. We had a good explanation about it yesterday. But yeah.
He
Should be
gets
here
it.
for a few months.
Yes, so that's great. Also this month is the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool. And
Mother's
the
Day
Webb's,
weekend, right?
Mother's Day weekend. The weekend after that is the Webb's tent sale. And I think the weekend after that is Massachusetts Sheep and Wool.
Yeah,
And,
we need to pick one because I don't think I can do both.
Yeah, I'm going to try to go. I'm going to the New Hampshire with my family unless the weather's bad. If the weather's bad, we're not going to go. I'm definitely going to the Webb's tent sale to meet up with Jess because we have kind of an annual thing where we get together. And I'm going with my friend Diane and possibly Sheila, but she might not go to that because she might want to go to Mass Sheep and Wool instead.
I don't know. We'll see.
Mass Sheep and Wool, I'll probably go to that this year. I'm going to see if Diane will go with me. If you can't go, I don't want to go by myself.
If it's 2 weekends in a row, I can't.
Right. No, I'll try to get somebody to go with me.
Yeah.
Or
but
maybe
if there's
Lisa
a couple of
can go with
weekends, if there's like a weekend in between, although then we're getting into the point where I probably have to work. You know what I mean?
So, but those are all coming up. Fiber Frolic is in June. That's coming up. And then I think the next thing that's coming up is in August, and that would be Fiber Revival up in Newburyport. So I'm definitely going to go to that if I can. My guild sponsors that. So that's a fun day. You haven't gone to that one, have you? It's fun.
No.
It's not a big deal. It's not big, but we just hang out, and it's a lot of fun. So, and then the fall stuff starts in...
Don't push the fall. We haven't even gotten into the summer yet, please.
The upcoming stuff, the spring season ends in June. There's one or two events in the summer, and then it's the fall season starting up in October.
I just haven't,
So that's good. I think that's it. We'll be drawing prizes in episode 207 for Lineo Knits and for the monthly knit-along, and we'll come up with a new knit-along.
I have an idea. We'll talk about it.
And I'm going to try to post this on Thursday night because I will not be able to post it over the weekend.
You do realize Thursday is tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm on it.
Okay.
I have a planner now. It's all in there. Yeah.
That's good.
So, I think that's it.
All right. Excuse me. Sorry. I had a coworker ask me, how do I not fall asleep when I get home? I'm like, I gotta keep moving.
Yeah.
It's the only way I don't fall asleep. If I sit down.
I'm feeling pretty tired from that medication that I took.
Medication?
Medication.
On that note, I think it's time to call it quits.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Knit
we'll
with
see
heart.
you next week. Knit with Heart.